Hello everyone, after a long time, I decided I will talk a little bit about my trip to Sweden that I did entirely on foot. And this will be done in parts for each country. And because Czech Republic didn't take too much time, this video will be rather short. But still, if you have seen my previous videos, you probably know that I have been practicing. I did a couple of trips and just to find the right balance about what I'm going to need for what kind of equipment I should take with me. And yeah, this is going to be really interesting because, I had no idea what I was really going to need. And, looking back, I think for some reason I managed to choose all the right stuff. Uh, but anyways, after doing this training and balancing my equipment, I pretty much set out. This preparation didn't really take long, maybe just like few weeks, maybe like 2 or 3. And one morning I just kind of like walked outside the door and you know I just headed north. And I used to live in Hradec Králové, which lies on the river Elbe or Elbe. I'm not sure what the proper English pronunciation is. So if you follow it to the north, then it can get you almost to the border. So me and my friend Andrew from United Film, we went to we went along this river and then separated from it to basically go through different kinds of landscapes, like through villages, and then to some field road, through the forests, across meadows and all that. And it wasn't really easy. I think that for Andrew it was a lot of fun because he only followed me to the border, and that took us maybe like 1.5 days. And I think it was pretty good to have him with me because he gave me some really good tips, like what I should do along the way. For example, to change my t-shirt quite often. So if it gets too sweaty, then I can just kind of like hang it on my backpack and let it dry up while I wear the other one. And he also told me that to keep my feet in good condition, I should every once in a while just take my shoes off, take my socks off, and just walk barefoot on the grass. And those were some really good useful tips for me because I did that and it really helped. And as I walked, or as we walked in this part of the trip, we took short breaks, pretty much like you could say every hour, or sometimes sooner, sometimes later, depending on how I felt. And these short breaks, they really helped. To drink some water and just sit down. I had this kind of like it was like a tripod with you could kind of like set it up so you could sit on it. That was really good because like sitting on the ground wasn't really that easy in some places. So I could sit on that. It was pretty light to carry with me. And yeah, even at this point, I really felt that this trip will be really, really demanding physically. But I still didn't have a clue about how mentally challenging it would be because I wasn't alone. So I could at least, I had somebody to talk to. And that made my time perception, different. Like it was like going much faster, except, later on in the day when I was getting really tired. So yeah, it was good that I wasn't alone in the beginning. So I had somebody to share that with me. And at the end of the first day, we arrived to Roskoš, which is really a large lake with some camping grounds. And we didn't really want to go there because it was kind of like commercial. So we basically went to the part of the lake that wasn't really like it was wild, So we just found this little kind of like a cove, where you could go. There was sand. It was like a small beach, but nobody would really, nobody was there. It was kind of deserted. So we pretty much slept there. We were lucky because that year the water level was pretty low, and so the sand was pretty much dry. So I slept in a tent, and Andrew just slept, on a blanket under the open sky. And when I woke up the next day, after my first night in a tent that I carried with me, I just opened that tent and looked outside, and it just felt like I was on some deserted island. I just saw this, this open water and sand. I was like, wow, I'm on some beach. And that was just the beginning of this different feeling that I had in this trip. And when we went further north, the landscape was getting more difficult, like, more uphill walking and, more trips through forest. And then we finally arrived to Náchod around lunch. And so we had lunch, and after that, we parted. So Andrew took the train back, and I crossed the border because Náchod is pretty much on the border. So, I just did some shopping in the shopping center for the last time for a couple of days, and just crossed the border quite easily because you don't even have to walk on the road. There was like this little path for cyclists and people walking their dogs, and just few steps and I was in Poland. I barely even noticed. It was so easy. It's not like you would have to go through some crazy, I don't know, station or whatever, or some border control. You just kind of walk and suddenly you're in Poland. And I remember that day was really hot, and even as we were having lunch, then we were bothered by a lot of wasps, because wasps are really aggressive during hot days. And I'm just getting a little bit ahead of myself, but once I crossed to Poland, actually I was never bothered by wasps again. I was kind of surprised by that. So I don't know, maybe bugs are nicer in Poland. Not sure, but it sure looked like it. And yeah, so that's so much about Czech Republic. It was pretty straightforward, and of course the easiest part. And in the next video I will get to Poland, which was actually quite interesting. So thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Bye.